and today we're going to be talking about recovery. Specifically, we're going to be examining different recovery methods and seeing whether or not they hold up to the science. I'll touch on massage, foam rolling, compression boots, compression socks, stretching, cold water immersion, and lastly, we'll talk about nutrition, which may surprise some people. Let's start things off with massage. This 2016 meta-analysis looking at massage and recovery did just that and came to the conclusion that the effects of massage on performance recovery are rather small and partly unclear, but can be relevant under appropriate circumstances. For example, it's interesting to note that massage may be more helpful after high-intensity mixed exercise than after strength and endurance exercise, and that untrained athletes actually seem to benefit more from massage. However, one very important thing to note about these studies done on massage and recovery is that they test whether or not it helped with recovery between two tests usually done on the same day, usually less than an hour apart from each other, not the following day. For example, this study on the effect of massage for recovery from cycling had subjects perform two cycling tests separated by less than 30 minutes. Probably unsurprisingly, they didn't find any difference in performance in the second test after subjects received massage versus when they didn't. Studies looking at recovery 24 hours later, though, seem to indicate a benefit. We often turn to self-myofascial release, or as it's more commonly referred to as foam rolling or using the stick. However, there are a handful done on lifting, running, and other sports, and they all seem to show that it's beneficial. This review on self-myofascial release came to this conclusion, stating that studies to date suggest SMR may have beneficial effects on recovery. They even mention that this may be convenient for athletes by eliminating the need for a massage therapist, and this conclusion appears to be echoed in multiple reviews, with 30 seconds to 2 minutes using a foam roller or a stick over each muscle group. A more expensive but still cheaper than massage home recovery method is the use of peristaltic external pneumatic compression, or as it's more commonly referred to, compression boots. This study on dynamic compression on elite athlete recovery took athletes from the Olympic Training Center and had the experimental group use compression boots after their morning workout, while the control group did not. The compression group experienced significantly less soreness immediately after and later that day than the control group, and these results have been repeated in further studies, resulting in increased blood flow and decreased soreness. If you can't afford the hefty price tag of compression boots, then there's always compression socks or leggings. Looking to this study on the effects of compression garments on subsequent 40K time trial, they found that time and power output was improved in the second 40K time trial after wearing compression garments compared to the placebo. These findings were supported by a meta-analysis looking at many studies that came to the conclusion that compression garments are effective in enhancing recovery from muscle damage. Stretching is common practice to improve recovery in athletes. However, when you actually look at the science, it doesn't seem to be backed up. And again, this isn't a one-off study. These results seem to be consistent across the literature. A systematic review looking at stretching's effects on soreness from exercise found that stretching before or after exercising does not confer protection from muscle soreness. We've all seen athletes taking ice baths, and science suggests that it may help. A little bit. This 2016 meta-analysis looking at cold water immersion on muscle soreness found that cold water immersion may be slightly better than passive recovery in the management of muscle soreness, and it seems that for the best results you want temperatures between 11 and 15 degrees Celsius, and you want to stay in for 11 to 15 minutes. And there is some science that suggests that this may be true, at least in lifting. These two studies on the use of cold water immersion after lifting both found that subjects actually gained more strength in the control group that didn't use cold water immersion. This is because cold water immersion appears to attenuate the acute changes in cells that regulate muscle growth, and this means less muscle and strength gains. First, let's talk about timing. From this article on glycogen resynthesis after exercise, they stated that to maximize glycogen resynthesis, carbohydrates should be consumed immediately after exercise, and if you wait 2 hours, the rate of glycogen resynthesis is reduced by 50%. Glycogen resynthesis is significantly faster right after you're done working out, so it's important to get food in as soon as possible. Some people talk about a 30-minute window, but if you miss this window, it's not as if you should say screw it and just wait till dinner. It's a gradual decrease. The go-to food for many athletes after a workout is a protein shake. but is this really the best thing to be consuming post-ride? A systematic review on the effects of protein supplements for recovery found that high quality and consistent data demonstrated there is no apparent relationship between recovery of muscle function and ratings of muscle soreness and surrogate markers of muscle damage when protein supplements are consumed prior to, during, or after bouts of endurance or resistance exercise. It turns out that what's more important post-workout is carbohydrate consumptions to replenish your lost glycogen stores. However, there has been some debate as to whether or not you should consume carbs only or consume a carb and protein mixture. Some studies do point to the inclusion of protein as being the best choice. However, it's important to note that this study wasn't testing equal calories. When they equalized the calories, the carb-only mixture actually performed the best. Further post-workout nutritional concerns have been raised about antioxidants and whether or not they hinder the adaptation to exercise, thereby robbing you of potential fitness gains. And this scary claim does seem to have science to back it up. In a review on vitamin C supplements' effects on performance, large doses of vitamin C appear to reduce the training-induced adaptation, which is exactly the concern that people have with antioxidants. They also stated that vitamin C from 5 servings of daily fruit and vegetables would be sufficient to supply vitamin C needs without undermining training adaptation. The review concluded that acute antioxidant intake is probably beneficial, while chronic intake likely impairs performance. So is it time to throw away your high-dose antioxidant supplements? Most definitely, but what about fruits, vegetables, and other healthy foods? They're loaded with antioxidants. Does this mean that we should be cutting out salad from our diet? Man, a study looking at the effect of tomato juice on oxidative stress took 50 male track athletes and found that those drinking tomato juice ran significantly farther than they previously had, while the control group saw no improvement. The tomato juice drinkers also showed a reduction in markers of oxidative stress, leading to the conclusion that the antioxidant lycopene in the tomato reduced oxidative stress and improved performance. A study on lemons and exercise-induced oxidative stress found the same thing, concluding that the lemon did not block the cellular adaptive response, but also reduced cellular oxidative damage. You get a reduction in oxidative damage, which improves recovery. Basically, any high antioxidant fruit or vegetable has shown the same thing. Cherry juice has been shown to increase antioxidant capacity after a marathon, leading to aided recovery, and in another study reduced symptoms of exercise-induced muscle damage. That study showed that strength loss after eccentric exercise was 22% with a placebo, but only 4% when subjects consumed cherry juice. And blueberries have been shown to reduce inflammation after 2.5 hours of running. The takeaway? Unnaturally high amounts of antioxidants in pill form? Bad. Naturally occurring antioxidants in whole foods? Good. What a shocker. This includes recovery supplements. For your post-workout meal, just stick to whole foods. From this paper on basic recovery aids, eating whole foods seems to be as beneficial as consuming specifically engineered recovery foods or beverages. Many of the commercial calorie replacement products are quite expensive and are not any better than whole foods. Additionally, they are typically dense in macronutrients but poor in micronutrients.